Hey everyone, today we're at a cemetery called Silver City Cemetery, and this was a little community, a little town of sorts that was called Silver City, and it's just right outside of Tuttle, Oklahoma. All that's left of this is this actual cemetery. Kind of has sort of an old west feel to it, so we'll tell a little bit more about it. Now this Silver City was formed in about 1867, and it's right along the Chisolm Trail. And they picked this area to kind of form it because it was a crossing area of the Chisolm Trail to cross the Canadian River, which is back up around over that way. But this cemetery just sort of sits on a hill, and it's absolutely beautiful. Turn in by those houses over there, and you go down this road over a couple cattle gates. You'll actually pass through some cattle roaming these pastures right here. They've done an excellent job maintaining this, fixing this up. You can see here it says Silver City Cemetery, established 1876. And they have this nice walkway, these stairs here, and the nice fence. They also have this parking area. There's a cattle gate right over here that you finally cross so that those cattle over here that are up underneath that tree don't come into the cemetery and destroy anything. But they have this little city layout here, if we can show without the reflection. It says cowboys, cattle, horses, saddles, boots, and spurs. Headquarters of north of Tuttle, Oklahoma, Silver City, 1889. And they're just kind of sort of a layout. Now this town was formed and it gradually grew. And you can see they had a schoolhouse. Would have been right over here because here's the cemetery right here. And there's a Tuttle ranch house, the townsake's name. But you can see all these Joe Lindsay house. There's a Lindsay, Oklahoma. The Silver City store, so like a general store. And then the Mrs. Dr. John Shirley house. There's the Cornet Hotel right down here. And they had a blacksmith shop. And then also Billy Nelson's house. So it just kind of tells a little bit about it. The road to the Bond Ranch. You can see the Story Creek, South Canadian River here. Little bit of the layout of the area that we're in, and like I said, all that's left is this right here. And you can see that they have the Historical Society has really kept up with this cemetery. I'm not sure what that photo's to. If I can do some more research, I will include it. But basically, this cemetery has an old story that a cattleman from Texas was taking his cattle to Kansas to sell, and he did so, and then on the way back, when he had all his money, he was killed for his money. So he sold his cattle. All he had left was on him: his horse, his gun, his saddle, his own personal life, his clothes that he wore, and he was killed for the money. Rumor has it, now this is just a story, and I don't know if we'll find anything in this cemetery on him or not telling that, but the rumor has it that he is buried in this cemetery. Not sure what his name is, but he's buried in this cemetery with his horse, his saddle, and his gun. Why they would take the money and not the saddle and the gun is beyond me. I don't get it. But you can see here, they've done an excellent job researching who all is in this cemetery and the dates. And let's see, just a quick scan. I see 1881 as far as someone dying. Edwin G. Campbell. Lots of 1898s, 1896. Still active cemetery. I see a 2005. But there are some old ones in here for sure. 1884, 1891. And you can see, you know, the Johnson family is a big one. This Tuttle family that Tuttle, Oklahoma was named after. It's all history right here. And absolutely love what they've done here with this fence and everything with the parking lot and the stairs and the access to the cemetery. You can see here, really is well maintained. But we're going to go inside here and have a look around. Silver City Cemetery, established in 1876, and it was marked by the Williams River chapter. Pretty neat that they've fixed this thing up, maintained it, all of that. And like I said, it is a very scenic cemetery. You can see round bales of hay over there, and just some farms and cattle all around the cemetery. Kind of a little hill and a valley. Got some park benches in here. Sure, there are a lot of unknowns in here. We have just some markers here with crosses on it. And there are several of those. We won't walk to each one of those, but you can see there are several. And there could be some in between here. But here is a flatter marker. Could be a newer marker, I'm not sure. Sally Campbell Minter, 1852 to 1926. Kind of walk around on these small ones, and then we'll finish off with these big ones that are absolutely beautiful. This little cross one right here is pretty neat to see. And see what we can read there. It's not really legible. It's worn down. I don't think that shows up any better on camera. But look at this little inlet right here. It's just kind of dead ends that they've got around this cemetery like that. I think that's going down into the parking lot. But they've got a double fence around it to protect it on that one side. Some markers here. And there's some etching on there, if you see there on that one side, but no writing. And it goes across. And we have Virgil E., son of A.W. and M.A. Dudley, born in 1905 and died in 1907. This one could be a headstone marker or a footstone marker, but there's no writing on it. James Edward, son of E.F. and N.E. West, born in 1887 and died in 1888. So for Oklahoma, this is really an older cemetery. A lot of history here, right here on the Chisolm Trail. And then we have Thorma? No. That says Thomas right there is what that says. And the dates are kind of illegible, but I think it's in the 1800s. And then this is Helen, daughter of somebody there, and those are really worn down as well. I can tell that they've been reset, but they're older markers. We have more unknowns right through here. And nice looking tree there. Got some bean pods on it. And we have a headstone marker here and a footstone marker right here. Nellie J., born December 3rd, 1891, and died April 19th, 1893. And then we have children of J.B. and M.A. Green. Green is the last name. And John R., born February 11th, 1890, hit the tree there, and died February 23rd, 1890. And then we just have sort of a plain marker there that probably would have had something on top at one point. It looks like someone has etched a 44 in the top, maybe doing some research, trying to figure that out. This looks like a government marker right here. See who we have. No, it's not a government marker, but it sure had that shape and look to it from the backside. Ellen M., wife of J.P. Malcolm, October 7th, 1855 to March 5th, 1891. That is an old one. And we have the husband and wife shaking hands. Meeting in heaven is what that's symbolic of. And got a little one right here. And don't see a name on that side. Right here we have Virgie Elizabeth, and daughter of A. Gray, born December 11th, 1892, and died June 17th, 1898. And nothing on that side. And then we have this little one right here. It's an infant. And looks like daughter of C.F. and J.L. Moore, 1894, February 24th to April 19th, 1894. Just a young one. Have a dove at the top of the marker there. And then we have, looks like Polly Pearl, daughter of the Johnson family, born June 10th, 1880, and died October 28th, 1888. Also Lizzie, their daughter, born January 9th, 1884, and died May 28th, 1888, looks like maybe. See if there's anything on the other side. No. We got one right here. This is looks like Kirk B., son of R.H. and A.E. Ferris, born August 18th, 1893, and died January 5th, 1899. And over here we have Virgil E., son of B.H. and A.E. Ferris, born August 19th, 1880, and died, it's hard to read that month, March 6th, 1891. Got an unknown here. And then this is interesting, that little fence over there. It's kind of dilapidated. Eva A., wife of J.T. Sloan, born September 29th, 1879, and died March 23rd, 1904. You can see Sloan down at the bottom. Don't know if the husband's over here. No, or at least he's not designated. This is Jacob Bonner, born March 8th, 1853, and died May 2nd, 1904. And then there's this. It almost looked like a bed frame from a distance, but I see that it is an actual iron fence, and it was meant to have these little things through here, part of the fencing. But it is definitely fallen apart here. You can see where it's rusted and broken there. Still neat to see. I don't know if this is for the marker that we see here or if it's designating someone else. I would guess someone else. And make our way over to these other markers here. Stephen B. Fryrear, 1861 to 1941. This is one where the gates of heaven are opening up and there's a dove flying through. This is Rose, wife of S.B. Fryrear. So this is his wife right here. And born December 12th, 1871, and died April 25th, 1903. So she was younger than him and then died before him. And this is one of their kids, a son. And Francis F., son of S.B. and Rosie Fryrear, if I'm saying that name correctly, don't mean to butcher it if I am. Born November 14th, 1896, and died November 1st, 1900, just shy of his 4-year birthday. You can see this old fence work right through here. Like I said, this is a well-maintained cemetery, and I love that they've kind of preserved the history here. This is Ruth Reese, April 5th, 1885 to May 13th, 1965. Thy will be done. And we have a funeral home marker here. And then I am reading that upside down. But it looks like Cochran, 1850 to 1911. And we have Granny Vicey Herman, 1800 to 1900. Can you imagine that? 100 years old back then. Man, the things that she lived through. I mean, she would have moved to this area at an interesting time in her life. But that's pretty interesting. Looks like Adelaide B. Johnson, born May 17th, 1866, and died April 11th, 1905. And it says Johnson down at the bottom, but isn't that a beautiful marker? It's absolutely gorgeous. All these monuments are incredible. All the little detail that they put in these back in the day with the little shells and the little crests and the little oak leaves and cross. And this is it's like Stella, wife of P.K. Conaway. And October 11th, 1871 was her birthday, and May 9th, 1896 was her date of passing. So last name Conaway down at the bottom. And then this one is Colbert. And you can see a temple at the top, and it says, "In my father's house are many mansions." Popular saying on a lot of headstones. Fanny, wife of J.A. Colbert, born July 28th, 1878, and died October 15th, 1898. It's very much in a time period where this was a western frontier. It was not a state, it was actually a territory. And here we have a little lamb, so we know this is a young one. And I see that it says Johnson. Don't know whether it's a female or male. Can't read the name either, but born October 9th, 1893, and died June 17th, 1897. And then look at this monument, though. I mean, what a cemetery up here. You can feel the breeze blowing. Hopefully the wind is not too interfering with the sound. But it's nice and neat and mowed and maintained. And you have the fence and the trees, and then just sort of this hill that overlooks sort of a sloping hill valley. And these markers just really stand out. It's overcast day. Forrest H., son of H.F. and C.M. McLish. Yeah, August 22nd, 1899 to December 11th, 1900. Another young one there. We got gates opening up there, and I think a dove passing through the gates. Alexander McLish died September 12th, 1879, aged 10 years and 5 months. Just a young child. And this is looks like C.L. Campbell, and you can see a Mason symbol on top right here. February 5th, 1848 to October 27th, 1896. Very nice looking monument, though. And this is Edwin G. Campbell, son of C.L. and S.L. Campbell, born January 15th, 1870, and died October 14th, 1881. Look at this fence right here. Absolutely nice fence. Love all the intricate details here. All the little swirls. And you got this little handle that you pull to the side to open the gate. Just kind of a lower lying gate. What an old cemetery. Now this is Clyde, son of J.H. and A. Bond, born. Can't read that because of the crack. Maybe you can read it if I lean over. Didn't really want to open the gate and step in there. But died September 15th, 1892. Also James H., son of J.H. and A. Bond, born May 15th, 1879, and died October 20th, 1879. Still in really good shape, especially flat lying like that. We have a foot marker here, M.E.J., which is this one right here. Mary E. Johnson, wife of M.T. Johnson, died August 22nd, 1880, 33 years old, and 11 months and 8 days or 3 days, I think. It's interesting because she has that one right there that looks old, but there's also this one right here that looks old. Both have the same thing. It's the husband meeting the wife in heaven, and reaching out his hand and welcoming her. But this one at the bottom is really cracked and worn, but you can still read it pretty well, even though it's kind of worn like that. So maybe they kind of dug it up. Maybe it got covered and they did a replacement one at some point, but that other one is pretty old itself. You can see that marker right there. That little symbol there is in his service. IHS is what I think that says. It's just kind of broken. Here we have a vase and a nice looking marker right here. Mary E. Johnson right here, died August 27th, 1881. So this interesting, aged 33 years. It's got a lot of markers in here. Another piece there that probably came off of that, and they've leaned it inside this one. Montford T. Johnson died February 17th, 1896, aged 52 years. And this is Noba Agnes, wife of J.H. Tuttle and daughter of A. and J.H. Bond, born July 26, 1872, and died June 6, 1889. So Tuttle, like I said, there's nothing remaining of this Silver City. It's just kind of sort of in a roundabout way, an outskirt area of Tuttle, Oklahoma. Here is Stella. Didn't see any writing on that side. It looks like there was, but it's worn, so you can't read anything else. Frederick H., son of J.H. Tuttle, born March 24th, 1904, and died June 17th, 1904. Another marker over there. That's probably a foot marker. But look at the details in the corner posts here. I am a big fan of iron fencing in cemeteries now. Something like this, you would have been a really well-off family. A lot of people can't afford stuff like that. Alma Nora Tuttle, and this is last name Click, 1894 to 1919. This is like a total family row right through here. James Harley Tuttle, 1859 to 1922. Carrie M. Campbell Tuttle. You can see the relations between the Campbell and the Tuttle, 1873 to 1936. Millette V. Tuttle, Plomidon, if I'm saying that right, Plomidon, 1892 to 1949. James Bond Tuttle, I like that name, July 15th, 1896 to May 15th, 1966. Ada Brandon Tuttle, April 1st, 1895 to January 4th, 1976. We have this one here, it says Dobbs. W.L. Dobbs, born in 1882 on September 2nd and died December 26th, I think, on 1902. So basically 20 years old. Don't know if there's anyone on the other side, and there is. An infant, son of J.H. and M.A. Dobbs, born and died on January 16th, 1903. And that's a really beautiful monument there, too. It's just absolutely incredible what they've done with this. Amanda A., wife of H.T. Edgar, born July 12th, 1844, and died June 29th, 1904. Last name Edgar down at the bottom. They've got kind of sort of a planter there. And this is, we've got a gates opening up there. And then we have Lila, daughter of L.L. Francis Schrock is the last name. Schrock. I thought that was all one name, but it's not. Looking at the very bottom, it says Schrock. And then above that name on the bottom of the base, born September 10th, 1899, and died April 26, 1900. And this is Sally Leona Roberts, July 21st, 1910 to November 13th, 1981. A lot newer one than the others. Daughter of James H. and Carrie Tuttle, beloved mother, and of Lahoma and Carolyn. And then this is her foot marker right here, SLR. Several foot markers here. ALC, which would be this one right here. You can see some foot markers here, JHT, which is the Tuttle family over here. But this is Albert Lee Click, Oklahoma, private in the 385th Field Hospital, 97th Division, July 9th, 1892 to December 23rd, 1951. A nice upright granite marker there. Kreitz, if I'm saying that correctly. We have Samuel A. November 1st, 1914 to September 27th, 1978. And Carrie Click, name we just saw right over there on the Veterans Monument, May 5th, 1917 to October 14th, 2005. And then we have James H. Bond there, 1942 to 1920. And Adelaide Johnson Bond, 1841 to 1933. That is every grave in this cemetery. There is a bench over here that mentions Robert Tuttle family. Cemetery improvements made possible through their generous donations. How awesome is that? Like I said, this just kind of takes you back to how it was when Silver City was around. You'd have to imagine all the other things around. The little schools, the general store, the hotels, all in this little area right through here. Completely gone. And then also, just kind of like that silhouette of a longhorn, picture the cattle running through the Chisolm Trail as they made their way up to Kansas to sell it. And then the cattle is shipped on to Chicago or New York, where they didn't have cattle, and they brought a lot more money than if they just had the cattle in Texas. But doesn't this take you back the way this looks right here? It's old country city cemetery. Silver City wouldn't have been much of a city, but back then it would have been. So thanks for joining me today on this little tour of Silver City Cemetery. A lot of history here pertaining to the ghost town that used to be here, as well as the Chisolm Trail. Just kind of gives you that old west feel in this cemetery. Very neat that they've preserved the history here, and they've done an excellent job at doing so. A lot of money's been poured in here into keeping it up and maintaining it, which I really like. And they've also allowed access to everybody, and it's kind of in the middle of farmland here. Hope you enjoyed this little tour, and I'm sorry we didn't see anything on the cowboy that was killed here. It is sort of a story that's been told for multiple generations about this cowboy being killed and buried here in this cemetery. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the tour. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.